All right, the last things last. Let's talk about Greyhound. Well, I want you to do the synopsis if you don't mind. So essentially, this was a movie that was supposed to be theatrically released, right? I remember a trailer coming out. I tried to avoid it because I didn't want it to be spoiled. But I just saw Tom Neal, Tom Hanks wearing that hat. I was like, all right, well, clearly it's a war film. You know what I mean? Just from the look
Right.
and aesthetic of it, right? And yeah, it's pretty much that, right? And also, I didn't know going in that he also wrote the screenplay for this. Like, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's based on a book.
Yeah, but because right, it's based off of a book and also well inspired by true events actually, right? But
Oh, yeah.
but because of that Rona, we could get it in theaters. And I know that
Right.
the way how it was marketed, it was like, oh well, yes, you have to see it on big screen. You have to. I mean, it's a war film. I mean, we want to hear those explosions and duck. You know what I mean, when we see gunshots and whatnot, right? But last thing I want to say though, because of the pandemic, it made its way over to Apple TV. So it made its official release on July 10th. I know a lot of people talked about it, but yeah, we finally gonna talk about it here. So Ricardo, what is Greyhound about?
Right. So Greyhound is about it's effectively what is exactly? It's a PT boat. World War II is an escort boat,
Yeah,
and they're escorting a
yeah.
bunch of they're escorting
A bunch of allied ships, basically. Yeah.
right, yeah, supply ships mostly,
Right.
civilian stuff, guys who can't fight. So just cross the Atlantic. Problem is that you have a bunch of German U-boats coming out to deal with them. And U-boats are notoriously difficult to detect and very dangerous submarines, deadly. So their whole specialty is just dealing with these U-boats and protecting against U-boats, and they have to deal with, so it's the Greyhound versus, well, the Grey Wolf. This guy who's this unbelievably disrespectful German who's
Boy.
taunted him deep. And basically they just had to just survive getting through, I think, what, 4 days? I forget how long it was.
It's
Uh,
about that. Just basically
yeah.
without aerial support at all.
Yeah, without air support, right. And they had to wait for it, and they didn't think it would have been an issue, but it ended up being much longer. And what happens is that in the middle of the story, they make a weird decision. The captain make a kind of tough decision, and he kind of get fooled, and then mess him up now for the last day. So things get tough. So you have to make some real tough calls. And yeah, it's basically, your dad's Navy movie. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
that's what
Yeah.
it is. Right down to having the main character be Tom Hanks and be this
America's
old
Dad.
guy basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
America.
the American dad basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. I didn't think that this would have been as good as it was. It's
Oh, okay,
everything
you
is
loved it. All right. That's-
everything is standard by the book stuff. I'll say I have one complaint about it, but it's not a big issue. And I can't tell if it would have been a problem because I would rather watch it on a big screen to know. I am a little resentful that I couldn't see this on the big screen. That's all I'll say.
All right.
I thought it was great. I really liked it. Again, everything is just by the numbers. Everything is just protocol and approach. And I'm a big Star Trek nerd, so to see all this Navy stuff play itself out is awesome. XO, you make a command, the XO make the command, and then everybody make the call and have to do what they're doing. Everybody know their job. Everybody competent. If somebody fuck up, they'll know. And everything is life or death. And it's about just handling a situation, how to handle uncertainty. And yeah, Tom Hanks is a great, captain. That's why it worked.
Yeah.
And it's just them having to deal with these U-boats now. And I think they
Right.
take out what a total of, they had to deal with up to 4 U-boats. I forget how many U-boats in total.
I don't know how much in total, but I would assume it's about that amount you said. 4.
Yeah. And that is like a tough call. 1 U-boat is precious, but
Yeah.
4, and all of them basically is moving like a, well, quote unquote wolf pack now. And they make it work. They lose a bunch of ships. They lose some close people to them on the boat itself. That's a great scene, really touching scene. And yeah, everything is just, well, matter of fact. You have to move on, and don't be too hard on yourself about it. And it's soldier shit, right? It's again your dad's movie. And what I'll say, this is the first complaint. I'll say it's less of a war film and more of a war exhibition film. That's what it felt a little too much like. Everything is very clear, everything nothing messy at all in that sense of everybody obeying instructions or communication doesn't seem to break down in any way.
Yeah,
that
there's
it
there's
should have
no kind of opposition or anything.
nothing like
Right.
nothing like that. That is not a problem for me. I didn't have a big issue with that per se. Secondly, as I said, this is something I could only judge watching it in big screen properly. But like on my monitor, it felt a little some of the special effects didn't feel finished. Felt a little dated. So especially like when it's time to watch the waters and the big scenes from the top, it feel a little unfinished. I know it's like gray skies and everything's supposed to be grayed out like that. Everything overcast, but it felt a little some stuff felt a little too shiny and unpolished. Sorry, well, polished, too polished, as in
Mm.
unpolished special effects. That's all I mean by unpolished. And it could have it could have felt a little more gritty because already too much of it felt a little too green screen. Um, that is about it. Everything else I thought was fine. I loved all the characters, all the relationships I was set up. Tom Hanks held the film. He was great. Um, it just had a great arc with what's going on here. It's just a simple story, similar to like a simple day in the life of like Dunkirk or one of these all these war movies. Bridge on the River Kwai or whatever it is, right?
Mm.
Uh, this really worked in terms of like just strategy, tactics. If you remember a little thing called Das Boot or Hunt for Red October,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
remember
that,
those shows.
right?
Kids
And they
actually
just
parents about those shows, by the way.
yeah, and I thought they nailed it in terms of this that approach. And if you're into that military aesthetic, which I am a big fan of, if you do it right, it works. And they made it work. Good characterization, and I didn't have any major problems with it in that sense. So that's me.
All right. Well, here's where things gonna get a little interesting though. Um, there is a great film in this, but
Right.
there are some issues. Okay, so how all right, so let me use Greyhound as an example itself, right? So if the ship itself was the movie, yes, it's great, right? But circling it, right, we have some noticeable flaws with it though, and unfortunately that took me out quite a few times with the movie. That's not to say that the movie is terrible or it's unwatchable. It's just that I felt that, there was just a few things that could have been tweaked that could have made the show this a worthwhile experience for me. Like I just got it, I was like, all right, this is fine. But I came out of it honestly wanting a little bit more, right? So I'll explain briefly what it is I mean, right? So first off, I agree with you with the visual effects. Especially like with the water effects. There were a few moments where I was watching it, and because we had no choice, we had to watch it with monitor. I felt like it
Yeah.
have a sort of unpolished look to it. And
Yeah.
yes, we could get with the fact that okay, we working with certain times of the day, so it's mostly like dusk basically. But still, some of the water effects kind of look a little choppy, so to speak, right? But yeah, I don't know if it's just the way it was presented on our screens, but yeah, I imagine like if it was just blown up to show in theaters, it wouldn't have looked that good. You know what I mean? But
Right.
yeah, so it have a little unpolishedness with the visual effects. I would agree, and especially like when they zero in on people's faces, like Tom Hanks and just the guys on the boat itself. Yeah, like even I myself was watching, like yeah, it really does feel like they are part of a green room now. Not so much that they are in the environment that they're supposed to be in. Yes, you could throw whatever water effects you want to, but still it kind of feels like they're in a green
Yeah,
screen, right?
that Sky Captain will the tomorrow look.
Yeah. That's a good reference. Yeah, for real, for
That
real.
was
Yeah. Um. Also, but to me, this is like the main reason, main issue that I had with the show. It's linked. Well, sorry, two reasons. One, it's linked. I felt that it was too short for what it was. And
oh,
okay, like the
I can
movie clocks in at about like what, 85, 90 minutes, and I felt like it just could have been just like a 5, 10 minutes longer. I'll explain what I mean. Like I understand in terms of what they were setting up, like tension wise, right? They wanted to
right.
be quick, you know what I mean? Just well, like think of it like how Dunkirk was, which like in comparison to other Nolan films is fairly short, right? It's we're like about an hour and like 40, 45 minutes, right? But you see how it's mostly built on tension, right? It was just like, okay,
Right.
we had to have this running, and then the story ends. That's what it's about. I felt with the well, I have a feeling that this is what they were going for here with this movie, right? Where it's mostly built on tension, right? Here's the issue. I felt that this is like my next gripe. I felt that character wise, they could have just given us a little bit more, fleshing out. They could have fleshed out the characters just a little bit more,
Right.
especially with Tom Hanks's character, because
Yeah,
like
because
what
we
we
saw
get
him.
as far as like what we get at in the beginning was just him meeting his girlfriend, who's played by Elizabeth Shue.
Right.
That's the only scene that she's in the show. They don't ever go back to it at all. I just felt that
Yeah.
was just there to be like, oh well, it's mostly a show with a bunch of guys, but let's have a moment with a woman in it, so we don't get accused of
Well, no,
certain things.
we don't learn. Yeah, that's the thing. We don't learn anything in depth with these dudes. Like we just know, they're good Navy men, and that's about it. And he like kind
Right.
of learned the names of some of these dudes for the first time because it's his first trip. So he
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
mispronounce a couple names. You see him mispronounce a couple names. It's some people who serving him a good while now. That's the thing. You get the feeling that it's more we meeting him for the first time, and they thought it would just been a standard kind of thing, and then it turned out to be this harrowing experience that they barely lived through. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I kind of got from it, and that's why I didn't have a problem with the thing. I do understand what you're saying with the length, like you could have established the characters a little better, but
Yeah.
that to me kind of
Just like a 5-10, just like 5-10 minutes or something.
right.
Just it's a little
I
bit.
didn't have a problem with that because my attitude was no, they didn't think it would have been a thing. Like it was just we just escorting some ships, that's it, and then it turns out to be this nightmare.
Right. So
Right.
yeah, you're right. But and yes, I would understand some people would be fine with this, right? So it's like the more I think about it, the more reasons that are unravel, right? So bear with me. So another reason too is because it's centered on Greyhound itself. We don't see anybody else in the other ships in the convoy. So you're with these characters there. So you kind of want when the shit hits the fan, you're like, okay, I'm rooting for this guy to survive. Like not to say we want anybody in this ship in this movie to die, right? But you want to invest your time with them. So it's like, oh well, something happened to him. Oh, you know what I mean? I want to feel concerned or whatnot. But because they mostly center on Tom Hanks, I pretty much leave everybody else, the background, even right down to poor Stephen Graham. I mean, he was fine, but could have given him more. The one who really suffered the most too was Rob Morgan, boy.
The chef was the chef character.
The chef character, yeah. All he just does basically is just, hey sir, you know what I mean? Your breakfast is ready, sir. The sandwiches are ready, sir. That's pretty much what they have him do. And
all right, so
this doesn't mean nitpicking and seeing that every man Jack have to get like a 1-2 moments to try and do the little Oscar worthy performance, but still like, all right, these are real people in this ship, and this is why I, as a viewer, and I going into the story for the first time and not knowing the backstory itself, because sorry, I don't know everything World War II. I have to kind of care about these characters now, but because it's just centered on meaning one person, it's like, okay, but what about everybody else too? You know what I mean? So that was another issue I had.
Yeah, again, I didn't really have a big issue with this because again, it's a war exhibition kind of thing. So it felt like my attitude was, this is just a matter of fact kind of situation, and then it lies entirely on visual language. So you have to just pick up little cues, little characters being clearly this character nervous, but we're not gonna like see his perspective for too long. Like that is one great moment where they was talking, and then the little boy was like watching them, and then they just kind of walk off a little distance, like just a little further in the back, just to explain the situation, how desperate they are, little stuff like that. His death, okay, so it's like I'll say I can imagine people saying it's a complaint because is even though it's a product at the time, he's just the chef, and then they kill the black guy, right? And but I didn't have an issue with that because again, you could tell that he's serving with him a long time, and then again was hell, he could die at any time, and it was like a big surprise because they didn't expect the submarine to fire while service. And it kept them off guard, and then they just say, look, mutilated bodies, and they keep it like that. They had the thing, they had a funeral, and then they move on now. I felt that worked. I didn't have a big issue with that. You didn't need to be more than that now.
But, you didn't need to extrapolate on certain things. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was glad that they blazed through that. Like it was just pace, moving from thing to get it done.
And I would agree though. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, that's why I don't have a problem with the length now.
Yeah, and I would agree though. I mean, peace is what it nails. So it nails it down, near perfectly, right? And for many people, they will appreciate that. But for me, who just want just a little bit more detail, though, is just like, all right, they really could have expanded on certain things. So, also, just minor gripe. I'll get to the good stuff in a bit. I felt that the show relied a little too much on the score to build tension. And,
Okay.
I looked up the person who actually did it is actually Blake Neely. I'm like,
Okay.
would do the composer for Flash and majority of the CW superhero shows, like, would
Right,
do.
right,
Get your money, son. Get your money. You know what I mean?
right.
But yeah, I felt that it relied just a little too heavy on the music to sell it, and it wasn't like Dunkirk where it just had that seemingly endless shepherd stone, which really kind of like I know
Right.
infuriated some people, but to me it just kind of build the tension even further. But yeah, this case is just like, okay, we have to have the music sound dark, so okay, like for us who kind of have to get used to what's going on, it's like, okay, I should feel this way because the music's telling me this. That's how it felt, right? And last, so this minor gripe though, I know it has some people out there that just don't care for, naval films or war films. So yeah, there's a lot of like detail, you know what I mean, like just figuring out where the enemy is and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
you have to know those kind of things now. If you
Yeah.
just like war films where it's just soldiers running, ducking, hiding, and shooting, it's not that. It's
Right.
naval warfare. That's what it is,
Yeah.
right?
No, it was a more. It was. I'll say it's a less humanistic Private Ryan and a less humanistic version of Fury.
Um,
It's that, right?
okay. I thought you guys see
It,
Das Boot for a sec. Right.
no, you're learning. Yeah, it's just Navy version of that, but you're not learning about them or you had to learn their personalities and yeah, that shit. It's like no, it's real troopers, it's real soldiers.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
real, and it's not characters that just they're trying to flesh out and you had to learn about them. None of that.
Right.
I
Well,
prefer this.
yeah.
So
So,
it's
I guess in my part though, maybe it's just my expectations. Me
right.
having seen war films over the past few years, expecting something like that now, but I didn't really get that here. Though,
Yeah, it,
I,
it
I,
does.
I, what?
Yeah, yeah, it does cater to a certain military aesthetic that I like. Like
Yeah,
like I'm a big fan of Battlestar Galactica. So when the characters like sort of go down, you get a good sense of real military sensibilities. Like this is
yeah.
how
I understand. Yeah, I get it.
everything
So yeah,
clinical
but
calculated.
yeah,
Yeah,
kind of clinical approach to how everything is. Not just
right.
point and shoot. Basically, it's strategy, right, and whatnot, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, but so for me, I guess I should have watched the trailer. Yeah, it's one of those situations. It's one of those circumstances, right? I should have watched the trailer. I should have known going in what to expect because, yeah, I knew what to expect with 1917. I knew what to expect with Dunkirk, right? So I went to expecting, a traditional war film. I didn't quite get
right.
that, right? So yeah, it's one of those, scenarios. And I guess, I would have enjoyed it more, with my first viewing there. But I guess, with more viewings, I will appreciate this movie more for what it was trying, what it is and what it tried to do. Um, Along with the pace, I really dug Tom Hanks' performance. I mean, of course, he's going to shine, but he does really shine here. I like how
Yeah,
vulnerable he makes himself. He's not
yeah,
just a stoic person who knows everything. He's like, literally on his feet throughout the entirety of this show, just trying to figure out what to
yeah,
do. It's not like he's all inept and he doesn't know what to do. He has to give the right orders, you know what I mean? And he's just watching everything,
yeah.
observing. And ever so often he might make a bad call or whatnot, but he has to pick himself back up and just
Right.
move on, you know what I mean? And it's not just his boat, but the others as well in the convoy, you know what I mean? So I really dug that.
Yeah, I like to get into that aspect of you don't ruminate too much on what ifs and what I could have done and money quarterback. And it
Yeah.
is how the characters no you did the writing of the information you had at the time, and they made that work like little stuff like when the guy they had the decoy and he ended up making the waste of depth charges on this decoy. That's a great
Yes.
moment,
Yes, that was a great moment.
and
Yeah. I wouldn't lie. Yeah.
and the fellow was
Um
like, yeah, I should have caught it sir, and he's like, no, you did exactly what you need to do. Sorry to say it. It have some fuck ups that you could just you could tolerate, and other fuck ups you can't tolerate, and you don't know how to demarcate that. And
that's
they
right.
did
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Right. But just in closing, right? So yeah, so like I said, I should have gone in, knowing a little bit more of what to expect this show, and I would have appreciated more for what it is. But and I really will make the effort to check it over again. You know, just treat it for what it is, and not expect it to be like some other run-of-the-mill World War II film. You know what I mean? Just appreciate for what they were trying to do, because you have to give credit where credit is due. I mean, Tom Hanks who actually wrote the script here. He's not
Yeah,
trying to make your typical war film. He's not trying to make your typical naval war film, sorry, neither, right? So I have to appreciate that at least. So while my score at the moment is a decent, a strong 3.5 out of 5, I have a feeling that with a couple more viewings and just me kind of shutting off the nitpickiness in my brain, I'll appreciate this movie a lot more, and it might bump up to a 4, or perhaps not a 4.5 out of 5. That at the moment, but maybe a 4. And who knows? This
Right.
actually could make it to like honorable mention. Yeah, I have a feeling they will make it there. Cause there is a lot of good in this show. It's just the aesthetic, the way how it's presented may throw some people off, like how it did me. But I say, give it a chance, and you'll appreciate it. But this is one I know for sure that will get better with subsequent views. So yeah, I will just make a mental note to definitely watch this over.
Yeah, no, I loved it as it is. Again, it is very clinical, but that stuff does work for me personally. So that's why a lot of it worked for me. I get us a 8 out of 10.
Right. Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'll say it was pulled down by some of the production value, and it really felt like it was some of the green screen, a little too green screeny, and the lighting look a little off. But I just my monitor, I couldn't tell if it was working. And I said, actually, like if I watch it on a TV screen with a more cinema aesthetic look, how it go look. Or if I change up my monitor a little bit, how it go look. Or if I change up just VLC have little settings you could change. But I just watch it as it is, and it'll look a
Yeah.
little flat. That's
Yeah,
some
well,
little flat.
I should have to tweak, my well, I
Right,
use VLC as well too. Like this is
exactly.
that episode of Game of Thrones final season where
Right.
they talk about how dark it was, and you had to literally raise the brightness to see it. Like, no. We're not
Right.
gonna do that, man. Come on. Yeah.
Right. So that's about it. I don't have a problem with it as it is. I really enjoyed it for what it was. Just strong emotion. They made it work. Just it's quite matter of fact. Everybody communications. Everybody dry. Everybody straightforward. Everybody doing what they had to do. They're cracking little jokes on here or there, but it's like for the most part, it's surprisingly almost cinema verity approach to filmmaking. With
Oh,
it.
that's
And
that's a
that
good that's a good point there. Yeah, it
yeah, and
really
that's what
does have that cinema verite feel to it.
yeah, and that's why
No,
it
no,
for
no
me.
fluff. Just
Yeah,
this is what it is, right? Deal with it.
yeah, and that was about it. So yeah, for me, 8 out of 10.
All right, nice.